Number 10. The precision of Pumapunku. Deep in the Bolivian highlands, hidden among the ruins of Tiwanaku, lies Pumapunku, a site that should not exist, carved from diorite and granite, some blocks weighing over 100 tons. These blocks feature perfectly straight cuts, 90-degree angles, and holes drilled with precision that would challenge modern CNC machinery. Archaeologists date the site to 500–600 AD, but the tool marks suggest techniques that didn't exist until the Industrial Revolution. The stones are interlocked with complex notches, creating earthquake-proof joints that still hold today. How did a pre-Columbian culture achieve this without iron tools or wheeled transport? The mainstream explanation, stone hammers and copper chisels, defies physics when faced with diorite. Visualize the sheer scale. A block the size of a bus, cut with micron-level accuracy. The stones themselves hide a secret, as if they were left by a forgotten civilization. To understand why this matters, consider what it means for human history. The implications of this discovery are terrifying. It points directly to a lost chapter of technological advancement. What makes this particularly unsettling is the human cost. Thousands of workers moving 100-ton blocks without the wheel. The true horror lies in what this means for our own survival. If they had such knowledge, why did they disappear? The precision of Pumapunku challenges our timeline of human development. It suggests that ancient builders possessed skills we cannot explain. The site remains a silent testament to a lost age of engineering. Every stone here is a puzzle that archaeologists cannot solve. The blocks fit together so tightly that a knife blade cannot be inserted between them. This level of fit is common in Incan walls, but Pumapunku predates them by 1,000 years. The quarry for the stones is miles away, across mountainous terrain. How did they move 100-ton blocks over such distances without wheels? Some theorists suggest advanced technologies like lost levitation techniques. Mainstream archaeology rejects these ideas, but offers no practical alternative. The mystery of Pumapunku endures, a silent challenge to our understanding of the past. The precision of Pumapunku is not just an anomaly, it is a warning. It tells us that history is not a straight line, but a series of peaks and valleys, and that some knowledge may have been lost forever. At Pumapunku, the H-shaped blocks interlock like a giant 3D puzzle designed to resist seismic activity for millennia. Each block fits so snugly that not even a razor blade can slide between them. The joints are earthquake-proof. The stone is diorite, one of the hardest rocks on Earth. Only diamond tools can carve it efficiently today. Yet the builders left no evidence of iron tools, no wheels, no draft animals. The stones simply appear, perfectly shaped. Mainstream archaeology claims the Tiwanaku people used stone hammers and copper chisels, but diorite is harder than copper. The precision at Pumapunku is a silent accusation. It says our timeline of civilization is incomplete. Number 9. The underwater city of Dwarka. Off the coast of Gujarat, India, the seabed hides a secret that challenges everything we know about ancient civilizations. In 2001, sonar surveys detected massive geometric structures lying 40 meters underwater, stretching over 7 kilometers. The ruins include walls, streets, and what appears to be a harbor, all perfectly aligned. This is Dwarka, the legendary golden city of Lord Krishna, described in the ancient epic Mahabharata. According to the text, the city was destroyed by the sea after Krishna's death, swallowed by the ocean in a single day. For centuries, the story was dismissed as myth. Then the sonar images emerged from the depths. Mainstream archaeology dates the site to around 1500 BC, a respectable age for an ancient port city. But some structures show signs of submersion for over 9,000 years, pushing back the timeline by millennia. If true, Dwarka would predate the earliest known cities of Mesopotamia by over 4,000 years. The implications are staggering. It suggests complex societies existed long before conventional history allows. This challenges the narrative that civilization began only in the Fertile Crescent and the Nile Valley. The horror lies in what else might be hidden beneath the waves. Entire chapters of human history erased. Rising seas at the end of the last ice age would have drowned countless coastal settlements. Dwarka may be just one of many lost cities waiting beneath the continental shelves. The Mahabharata describes Dwarka as a city of gold, with advanced architecture and a complex harbor. Underwater excavations have recovered stone anchors, pottery, and even a seal with inscriptions. The seal bears a striking resemblance to those of the Indus Valley civilization, suggesting a connection. But the dating controversy remains. Carbon dating of organic material gives conflicting results. Some samples date to 7,500 BC, others to 1500 BC. The deeper layers suggest older origins. If the older dates are correct, Dwarka was built during a time when the sea level was much lower. The city would have been a coastal metropolis long before the pyramids were even conceived. The implications for human history are profound. We may have forgotten a golden age of seafaring civilization. The mainstream reluctance to accept the older dates is understandable. It would rewrite textbooks. But the evidence is there, lying beneath the waves, waiting to be fully uncovered. Dwarka is a reminder that our past is not as neatly packaged as we think. The ocean holds secrets that could shatter our understanding of human origins. Sonar images show perfectly straight walls, streets laid out in grids, and a massive harbor complex. These are not natural formations. They are the remains of a planned urban center, now 40 meters underwater. Marine archaeologists have recovered pottery, stone anchors, and even a carved seal from the seabed. The seal bears a striking resemblance to those of the Indus Valley civilization, but the dating suggests something older. Carbon dating of organic material from the site gives dates as far back as 7,500 BC. That is over 9,000 years ago, thousands of years before the supposed dawn of civilization. Number 8. The impossible angles of Sacsayhuaman. The walls of Sacsayhuaman rise from the earth like frozen serpents, their surfaces smooth to the touch. The largest stones weigh over 300 tons, yet they fit with a precision that allows no blade between them. Each stone has 12 or more faces, cut at angles that lock the entire wall together without mortar. The Incas are credited with building this in the 15th century, but the style predates them by millennia. The stones are carved from andesite, one of the hardest rocks, yet they show no chisel marks. The surfaces appear polished, as if the stone was softened and then hardened again into complex curves. Some researchers believe the Incas did not build Sacsayhuaman, but inherited it from a lost older culture. The polygonal joints are so precise that they can withstand earthquakes that crumble modern buildings. The technique used to shape these stones remains unknown to modern engineering. No known tool could carve such complex curves into andesite without leaving marks. Some propose that the builders used a plant-based acid to soften the stone, but no evidence supports this. The walls are not straight. They zigzag in a pattern that resembles a lightning bolt. This design may have had ceremonial significance, representing the god of thunder or lightning, but the structural advantage is clear. The angles absorb seismic energy, making the walls virtually indestructible. The quarry for these stones is located miles away, across rivers and steep terrain. Transporting a 300-ton block without wheels or draft animals seems impossible by any known method. Experiments show that even with hundreds of men, moving such stones would be nearly impossible. The Incas left no written records of how they built Sacsayhuaman, only oral traditions. Those traditions speak of the walls being built by gods or giants in a single night. The Spanish conquistadors marveled at the walls, calling them the work of demons. They tried to destroy the fortress but could not move the stones, so they built on top of them. The mystery of Sacsayhuaman challenges our understanding of ancient capabilities. If the Incas did not build it, then who did and when? The precision suggests a lost science of stone manipulation that we have yet to rediscover. The walls stand as a monument to a forgotten chapter of human history. The stones themselves seem to breathe. Their surfaces are not flat but subtly curved, as if designed to lock together under immense pressure. Each block has an average of 12 faces, some more. The angles are not random, they are calculated to distribute weight evenly across the entire wall. No mortar holds them together. Yet after 5 centuries of earthquakes, the walls remain intact, while modern structures around them have crumbled. The andesite stone is among the hardest on Earth. Carving it requires tools we do not see in the archaeological record. Some stones show a strange vitrification, a glassy surface that suggests intense heat. Could the builders have softened the rock? Legends speak of a liquid that turns stone to clay. The walls may be evidence of a forgotten technology, one that rearranges matter at a molecular level. The Incas claimed these walls were built by gods in a time before time. Modern science has no answer. The angles remain impossible. Number 7. The unfinished obelisk of Aswan. In the granite quarries of Aswan, a massive obelisk lies still attached to the bedrock. It would have been the largest obelisk ever erected, 42 meters long and weighing 1,200 tons. The project was abandoned when cracks appeared in the stone. But the real mystery is how they planned to extract it. Workers cut trenches around the obelisk using harder stones to pound the granite. The process would have taken years, but the precision of the cuts is baffling. The trenches are straight, uniform, with sharp corners. How did they cut such hard stone without metal tools? The Egyptians had only copper and stone. The scale is overwhelming. This obelisk would have stood taller than any structure in ancient Egypt. The horror is in the labor. Thousands of men toiling for decades for a single monument. The site suggests an organization and engineering skill that seems impossible for a Bronze Age society. To understand why this matters, consider the sheer weight. 1,200 tons is the equivalent of 300 elephants. Modern engineers doubt they could move it even today with our cranes and trucks. The trenches are only a few inches wide, yet they run perfectly straight for meters. The corners are so sharp they look machine-cut. No visible chisel marks deviate from the line. Some researchers propose they used wooden wedges soaked in water to split the stone, but the obelisk is not split. It is carved out with a precision that wood cannot explain. The tool marks on the walls show a consistent pattern, pounding, not cutting, but pounding alone cannot create such straight lines. There must have been a guiding technique. The ancient Egyptians left no records of how they built obelisks. No blueprints survive. What makes this particularly unsettling is the human cost. Workers lived in squalid camps nearby. Skeletons found in the area show signs of severe physical stress, crushed spines, broken bones. These men spent their entire lives pounding stone for a monument they would never see finished. The obelisk was meant to stand at the entrance of a temple, a symbol of divine power. But the crack appeared and the project was abandoned. The obelisk never moved. Today it remains a frozen moment in time, a testament to ambition and failure. The crack that doomed it is barely visible. A few millimeters of flawed stone changed history. If not for that crack, the obelisk would have been the largest stone monument ever moved. The unfinished obelisk challenges everything we think we know about ancient Egyptian technology. The trenches around the obelisk are cut with surgical precision, their corners sharp enough to suggest machine-like accuracy. Workers pounded the granite with dolerite balls, a method that would have required years of relentless labor for a single monument. The obelisk weighs 1,200 tons. Moving it would have required lifting and transporting a stone heavier than a modern locomotive. No known technology of the Bronze Age could have lifted such a mass. The planning alone defies explanation. Number 6. The sound of the hypogeum of Al-Saflieni. Beneath the island of Malta lies a subterranean labyrinth carved from limestone 5,000 years ago. This is the hypogeum of Al-Saflieni, a 3-story underground temple that predates the Egyptian pyramids. Its chambers amplify sound in ways that modern acoustics still struggle to explain. The most famous room, the Oracle Chamber, contains a niche carved into the wall that resonates at exactly 110 Hz. That frequency is known to affect the human brain, inducing a trance-like state. The ancient builders carved the ceiling to mimic the surface temples above ground. The walls are painted with red ochre spirals, symbols that may represent eyes or cycles. The acoustic properties are so precise that some believe the hypogeum was designed for ritual use of sound. But the true horror lies in what else was found inside these chambers. Over 7,000 human skeletons were discovered in the hypogeum. Many of the skulls show evidence of deliberate cranial deformation. This practice of binding infant skulls to alter their shape was rare and ritualistic. The combination of sound manipulation and mass death suggests something darker than simple burial. Some researchers believe the hypogeum was a cult center where sound was used to control the mind. The 110 Hz frequency can induce fear, paranoia, and altered states of consciousness. Perhaps the victims were lured into a trance before their sacrifice. The hypogeum was sealed for thousands of years, preserving its secrets. When rediscovered in 1902, workers broke through the ceiling by accident. The site was nearly destroyed before archaeologists could intervene. Today, only a limited number of visitors are allowed inside to preserve the acoustics. The sound of the hypogeum still hums, waiting for those who can hear its call. The builders understood resonance in a way that modern science is only beginning to grasp. They carved a machine out of stone, one that could alter the human mind, and then they filled it with the dead. The hypogeum remains one of the most mysterious structures on Earth. The oracle chamber's niche resonates at exactly 110 Hz, a frequency known to induce altered states of consciousness. Modern experiments show that this frequency alters brainwave patterns, shifting the mind into a hypnotic trance. The builders carved the chamber to amplify this specific frequency with surgical precision 5,000 years before modern acoustics. Red ochre spirals cover the walls, their patterns echoing the spiral carvings found in Neolithic temples above ground. But the true horror lies in the bones. Over 7,000 skeletons were found stacked in the chambers, many with deliberately deformed skulls. Cranial deformation was a ritual practice, reshaping the skull from infancy, marking the individual for a specific purpose. The combination of sound-induced trance and mass death points to a cult that used the hypogeum for ritual sacrifice. Number 5. The megalithic wall of Sacsayhuaman. Above Cusco, the zigzag walls of Sacsayhuaman rise like a frozen lightning strike against the Andean sky. The largest stone, known as the Throne of the Inca, weighs 360 tons and stands 8 meters tall. The entire wall stretches 400 meters, a serpentine barrier that has survived centuries of earthquakes. The stones fit together so precisely that a knife blade cannot slide between them. The quarry lies 20 kilometers away, across a river and up a steep mountain slope. Pre-Columbian people had no wheels, no draft animals, and no iron tools. Yet they transported and lifted 360-ton blocks into perfect alignment. Some stones have protruding knobs on their surfaces, possibly for gripping with ropes. But the logistics of moving such weight over rough terrain remain nightmarish. Every proposed explanation fails under scrutiny. The Spanish chroniclers recorded that the Incas used thousands of men and ropes, but no amount of manpower can explain the precision of the joints. The stones were carved with multiple facets, each face fitting its neighbor like a puzzle. This technique, called ashlar masonry, requires each stone to be individually shaped on site. The walls have withstood multiple major earthquakes over 500 years. Modern engineers cannot replicate the construction with equivalent technology. The stones were not cut with metal tools. They were shaped by pounding with harder stones. This process would have taken decades, yet the Incas built Sacsayhuaman in roughly 50 years. The scale of labor defies population estimates for the region. Some blocks weigh more than the largest stones at the Great Pyramid of Giza. The throne of the Inca alone exceeds the lifting capacity of modern cranes in that terrain. The walls are not just defensive, their zigzag shape may have had ceremonial or astronomical meaning. The Incas left no written records explaining their methods. Spanish conquistadors dismantled parts of the wall to build Cusco, yet the foundations remain. The surviving walls are a monument to lost knowledge. Every explanation for their construction is a confession of ignorance. The walls stand as a silent accusation against modern arrogance. The largest stone, called the Throne of the Inca, weighs 360 tons and stands 8 meters tall. The wall stretches 400 meters, with stones fitted so tightly that a knife blade cannot slide between them. These walls have survived centuries of earthquakes, while modern buildings around them have crumbled. The quarry is 20 kilometers away, across a river and up a steep hill. No wheels, no draft animals. Some stones have protruding knobs, perhaps for gripping with ropes, but the logistics defy imagination. Every explanation fails. These walls are a monument to human ingenuity, or to something we can no longer comprehend. Number 4. The star-shaped fortress of Nan Madol. Off the coast of Pohnpei, Micronesia, lies a city built on artificial islands in a lagoon. Nan Madol consists of 92 islets surrounded by canals, with walls made of basalt logs. These basalt logs weigh up to 50 tons each, stacked like timber. Construction began around 1200 AD, but the scale is absurd. Over 750,000 tons of basalt were moved and stacked like logs. The quarry is 20 miles away, and the logs were transported by raft. No wheels, no draft animals, only human labor and the ocean. The walls are rough, yet they have stood for centuries against typhoons. The mystery is why anyone would build a city in such a remote, inhospitable place. Local legends speak of magic and flying stones. The horror is in the isolation. A civilization thrived here in the middle of the Pacific. They left no written records, no explanation for their existence. The city feels like a ghost, a testament to a culture that vanished without explanation. Some stones have protruding knobs, perhaps for gripping with ropes, but the logistics defy imagination. Every explanation fails. These walls are a monument to human ingenuity, or to something we can no longer comprehend. The quarry is 20 kilometers away, across a river and up a steep hill. No wheels, no draft animals. The stones were moved by human strength alone. Every explanation fails. The scale of Nan Madol is a puzzle that refuses to be solved. The city was a capital, a ceremonial center, a fortress in the sea. But why here? Why on a remote island, far from any trade routes? The isolation suggests a culture that deliberately cut itself off from the world. Or perhaps they were refugees fleeing something unknown. The basalt walls are not perfectly cut. They are stacked like a child's blocks. Yet they have withstood centuries of typhoons, earthquakes, and rising seas. The builders understood something about engineering that we still struggle to explain. Nan Madol is a ghost city, a star-shaped fortress that holds its secrets tight. The basalt logs, some weighing as much as a fully loaded truck, were stacked like timber in a log cabin. No mortar was used, yet the walls remain perfectly aligned after 800 years of tropical storms. The quarry, 20 miles away on the main island, shows evidence of sudden abandonment. Local legends speak of a flying dragon that carried the stones through the air. No written records survive from the Saudalur dynasty that ruled here. The city was suddenly abandoned around 1628 AD, leaving the stone giants to the jungle. Number 3. The alignments of the Giza Pyramid Complex. The Great Pyramid of Giza is aligned to true north with an accuracy of 0.05 degrees. This precision would require modern GPS technology to replicate today. The base is almost perfectly level, with a deviation of only 2.1 centimeters across 230 meters. That is flatter than most modern high-rise building foundations. The internal chambers feature granite beams weighing 80 tons, lifted to heights of 60 meters. The mainstream theory of ramps and levers fails to explain how such precision was achieved, but the deeper mystery lies in the shaft alignments within the pyramid. The so-called air shafts point to specific stars in the constellations Orion and Draco. One shaft aligns with the star Al-Nitak in Orion's belt. Another points to Thuban, the pole star at the time of construction. This suggests the pyramid was designed as an astronomical observatory, but the shafts were sealed for thousands of years, never meant to be used for ventilation. Their purpose was purely symbolic or ritualistic, or something else entirely. To understand why this matters, consider the mathematics encoded in the pyramid. The pyramid's perimeter divided by its height equals twice pi, accurate to 5 digits. The ratio of the apothem to half the base equals the golden ratio. These are not coincidences, they are deliberate design choices. The pyramid also encodes the circumference of the Earth. The builders knew the exact size of our planet centuries before Eratosthenes. What makes this particularly unsettling is the sheer scale of the undertaking. Over 2.3 million stone blocks, each averaging 2.5 tons, were moved and placed. The total weight of the pyramid is estimated at 6 million tons. The workforce needed to achieve this in 20 years would have to place one block every 2 minutes. That includes cutting, transporting, and lifting each block with perfect precision. No modern construction project has attempted such a feat with Bronze Age technology. The true horror lies in what this means for our understanding of ancient capabilities. If they achieve this, what else have we forgotten? The shafts themselves are not simple vents. They change angle multiple times inside the stone, as if designed to track specific celestial targets across the precession cycle. The southern shaft from the king's chamber pointed at the Orion constellation around 2500 BCE, aligning with the three belt stars that the Egyptians associated with Osiris. The northern shaft aimed at the star Thuban in Draco, which was the pole star at the time. This means the builders knew the Earth's axis would shift over millennia. The precision implies a mapping of the heavens that would require centuries of observation. Yet no evidence of such a pre-construction survey has ever been found. The pyramid stands as a message in stone, its alignments fixed for eternity. Whoever built it knew the sky would change, and they built for a future they would never see. Number 2. The lost city of Göbekli Tepe. In southeastern Turkey, a hill called Göbekli Tepe holds the oldest known megalithic structure in the world. Built 11,600 years ago, it predates Stonehenge by 6,000 years and the invention of writing by 7,000 years. The site consists of multiple circular enclosures with T-shaped limestone pillars weighing up to 20 tons. The pillars are carved with animals, foxes, scorpions, vultures, and other creatures. The builders were hunter-gatherers, yet they created a monumental complex requiring organized labor. The pillars are interlocked with stone sockets, suggesting a sophisticated understanding of engineering. The horror is that the site was deliberately buried around 8000 BC, filled with debris and abandoned. Why would a society build such a place and then bury it? The answer remains unknown. The implication is that Göbekli Tepe was not a temple but a warning, or a message, or something we cannot comprehend. To understand why this matters, consider what it means for human history. The site forces a rewrite of everything we thought we knew about the dawn of civilization. Hunter-gatherers were not supposed to build monuments. They were supposed to follow the herds. Yet here, they quarried, carved, and erected multi-ton stones in a planned arrangement. The effort required thousands of people, yet no evidence of a large settlement exists nearby. What makes this particularly unsettling is the deliberate burial of the entire complex. It was not destroyed by enemies or nature. It was entombed by its own builders. The true horror lies in what this means for our own survival. If a society could vanish so completely that even their greatest work was hidden, what chance do we have? The pillars may hold knowledge that was intentionally hidden from future generations. Some researchers believe the animal carvings represent constellations, mapping the sky. If so, the builders tracked time and seasons with precision, long before calendars existed. The site was built at the end of the last ice age, when sea levels were rising rapidly. Flood myths from around the world may recall this era of catastrophic change. Göbekli Tepe may have been a refuge, a record, or a warning about the coming flood. The builders buried their knowledge, perhaps hoping it would never be found. The T-shaped pillars at Göbekli Tepe are not random. Their carvings align with constellations from 11,500 years ago. The vulture stone may depict a comet strike that triggered the Younger Dryas Cold period. If so, Göbekli Tepe was built to record a cosmic disaster that reshaped human civilization. The builders buried the site deliberately, sealing it under tons of debris for thousands of years. This was not abandonment. It was a calculated act of preservation or concealment. What knowledge did they hide? And why did they want it kept from future generations? The answer may lie in the alignment of the enclosures, which point to the sky as it was 11,600 years ago. We have uncovered a time capsule from before the flood, but we may never understand its message. Number 1. The Antikythera mechanism. In 1901, divers off the Greek island of Antikythera found a corroded bronze object among a Roman shipwreck. At first it seemed like a lump of rock, but inside lay a device that would rewrite history. The Antikythera mechanism is now known as the world's first analog computer, dating to 100 BC. X-ray imaging revealed a complex system of 30 interlocking bronze gears precisely cut. Inscriptions on the device describe astronomical cycles, the sun, moon, and planets, It could predict solar and lunar eclipses with remarkable accuracy, centuries ahead. It calculated the positions of planets and even tracked the cycle of the Olympic Games. The technology required for such precision, differential gears, pin and slot mechanisms, was not thought to exist until the 14th century. The mechanism is a complete anomaly. It should not exist according to our historical timeline. The horror is that it implies a lost tradition of high technology that was forgotten for 1,500 years. What else was lost? The mechanism is a fragment of a civilization that had knowledge we still struggle to replicate. It defies the linear narrative of progress and suggests that history is not a straight line but a series of peaks and valleys. The device is a ghost from a smarter past, and its existence challenges everything we think we know about human achievement. To understand why this matters, consider that no other artifact of similar complexity exists from that era. The Greeks had the knowledge, but the technology vanished without a trace. Until this one survivor. What makes this particularly unsettling is the human cost. How many other inventions were lost in the same silence? The mechanism is a warning. Our own civilization may leave only fragments for future archaeologists. The Antikythera mechanism was built by hands that understood the cosmos in ways we are only rediscovering. It is a time capsule from a forgotten age of innovation, buried beneath the sea for 2,000 years. The implications of this discovery are terrifying. It points directly to a lost lineage of scientific achievement. We assume progress is inevitable. The mechanism proves that knowledge can be erased completely. Every gear in the mechanism is a question. Every lost technique is a gap in our understanding of the past. The Antikythera mechanism is not an outlier, it is a survivor. What else lies waiting to be found? The device challenges the very foundation of how we measure human progress. It suggests that ancient minds were not primitive. They were simply working with different materials. The mechanism is a mirror. It reflects our own arrogance about the superiority of modern technology. The Antikythera mechanism remains the most technologically sophisticated object from the ancient world. Every gear in the mechanism was cut with precision that would not be matched for over 1,000 years. The level of miniaturization suggests a long lineage of mechanical engineering, now completely lost. Historians now believe the mechanism was built in Rhodes, a center of astronomical study, but no other examples have survived. This single artifact forces us to reconsider the entire history of technology. It is a warning from the past.